Hey, it's DIY with Jayne, Furniture Prep 101 Part 2. So I didn't give y'all a warning I was coming on. I don't know if any of you will make it or not. But I've been outside building a door display for Anna. And so now it's time to... Hello there, one person. Now it's time to get this done. So I'm glad y'all are here. When you hop on, say hey. I see you. Hello there, Lori. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So yesterday we talked about, this is just kind of I'm taking y'all from the beginning to the end with this piece of furniture back here. And I meant to put on my headset and turn this volume down on this phone and see. There was a lot of, hey, Miss Lori Sue Smith. But I didn't. I'll try to remember to do that tomorrow. So we talked yesterday about cleaning furniture and how important it is to be sure that you have properly prepped furniture. And there was one other thing I just wanted to touch on for a little bit before we go on to stage 2 here with this bench. And that is, when you're out looking for furniture, hello, Miss Wellman, Indiana in the house. When you're out looking for furniture, be selective of the types. No, if you buy, free is not always a good deal. If drawers are dragging or need repair and you don't have that skill set or a husband that does. And I don't have that skill set or a husband that does. So when you look for furniture, open the drawers, make sure they open really well. And if they don't, see what it's going to take to fix them. Hey, Wayne McCollum. And if you have the capability, I have limited skills. I can do some minor repairs, but, you know, I'm certainly not a master wood carpenter. Hello, Texas. Miss Lively in the house, by any stretch of the imagination. So make sure your drawers open well. And as silly as this is going to sound, smell your furniture. Smell those drawers. And see if it's got a very strong odor, it's going to be hard to get that out. And a lot of times a vinegar and water solution or any other, soap in the drawers, all of those, baking soda in the drawers, all of those kinds of things may or may not work. And there's plenty of furniture out there at good prices that's in good shape. So just be selective of your furniture. That's the first thing I'll tell you about Furniture 101, is be selective about the pieces that you buy and make sure that you don't buy something that you either don't have the ability to fix or can't be fixed. I mean, you know, some of those odors, you just can't fix them. You can't get them out of the furniture. And so even if somebody wants to give you that piece of furniture, you're not going to be able to seal it out. Sometimes you can seal and the odors will go away. Sometimes you can't. So that's just a chance you take. So be very deliberate about your furniture when you're selecting it, okay? Now, so yesterday we talked about cleaning. Today we're going to seal this piece. And I'm going to use Salvation Solution in white. And I have two different furniture primers, stain blocker sealers. I have a clear and I have a white. They're both called Salvation Solution. I'm going to use white on this piece because it's so dark. And I will say this, hey, Miss Green, when you're sealing furniture, and especially if you're going over a dark piece of furniture like this one, you want to seal it with I prefer not a clear sealer. I prefer a stain blocker or a primer, if you will, that is a solid white, because I'm going light with this piece of furniture. So it's much harder to take a dark piece of furniture and go light than it is to take a light piece of furniture and go dark. And a lot of times on older pieces of furniture like mahoganies and things like that have a tendency to bleed a lot. Hey, Nancy Hamrick, you might want to consider if they bleed even through your primers, and I've had that happen. Sometimes the best solution for a piece of furniture like that is just, if you want it is to go dark with it. Just paint it dark. And then if it bleeds through, the odds are you won't be able to see it. So just a few little furniture tips there. Okay, so let's get started on this piece of furniture, and I apologize for the noise. It's going to be cracky when I put you down. But this is the piece we cleaned yesterday, and I'm just going to paint on it for a little while with you. And so I won't be here long today, but just to give you a sense of how well this covers and just the process. So this was sitting flat down on my little table, and I just took some little pieces of 1/4-inch plywood and put them under there so that I would have a lip to be able to paint this with, okay? So let's see. We'll just start right here. It's the easiest place for y'all to see. And when you're painting a piece like this, you're not going to have, you can kind of, it's going to be streaky. But don't worry about that. And it may take more than one coat of primer to get this fully covered. You may be able to do it with one coat of primer and then just use your paint as the second coat. But usually, if I'm going on a dark piece of furniture, I typically put 2 coats of paint, 2 coats of primer, just because I don't want to have to deal with this color later on. I don't want to see this color again. I'm done with this dark color, so I don't want it bleeding through. And if it gets kind of streaky like this looks like it's going to, I'll just go ahead and put another coat of primer on. So this, to me, is, cleaning furniture is a very important thing to do, as we discussed yesterday. But if you're working on a dark piece of furniture, I think it is critical, if you want to take it lighter, I think it is critical to seal it with a primer or stained rocker. I call it a sealer. It's not really a sealer in the sense of a top coat. What you're doing is sealing that dark color in so that it doesn't bleed through and you don't see it on your finished product. I had a buffet, one of those Jacobian style buffets, that I had looked and looked for one, and I finally found one, and it was the right price, and yada yada. Drove to get it twice. I won't tell you that story, but and I primed it and it bled through. And it was another dark piece of furniture, and I was trying to go light with it. I primed it and it bled through. This was before Salvation Solution. I went and got a different primer. It still bled through. And I took it to storage. So me and that Jacobian buffet are on a temporary separation. I don't know if we have irreconcilable differences yet or not, but for now it's resting in storage. And I think I'll live to fight another day with it. But it's probably one of those pieces, because it's that dark stained, walnut stained piece. That may be a piece that I just have to, I wanted to paint it a light, but it just may be one of those that I have to paint dark. So that, let me move y'all around. So that, I'll try to be quiet with it as best I can. Because it's just going to bleed through, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to stop it from doing that. So, there, maybe that wasn't too noisy. Yesterday's live sounded horrible, so I'm trying to be more mindful of y'all's ears. So we'll just work on this first half. Y'all got any questions? Anybody? If you do, pop them in the comments. I'll try to look up and catch them. We'll just do a little bit here. I just kind of wanted you to get the, I'm not going to stay on here live and prime this whole thing, but mostly I just wanted to talk to you about priming and why I prime and when I prime, and always with an older piece like this. And I don't know where this, I don't know anything about this paint that's underneath here. I don't know what kind of paint it is. I don't know if it's an oil-based paint or... I just don't know. It's hard to tell by looking at it. So it always, to me, saves you a lot of heartache if you'll just go ahead and prime these darker pieces. Like I say, unless you're going to paint it, you know, a super dark color, then I don't know that priming is necessary. I do try to minimize my brush strokes. You're not going to eliminate them on the first time around, but I do try to minimize them to the extent that I can. Okay, let me look back real quick and see if there are any comments. And I'll just finish out my little pot of paint here. And we'll be done with this little episode for today. I'll probably cut the bottom for this before I start painting it so that if I nick it up, you know, it's just the primer that I'm nicking. I do have to put a bottom in it. It never had a bottom. I bought it without a bottom, and I lived with it all these years without a bottom in it. So, but I think if I'm going to sell it, I probably need to put a floor in it so people can use it for storage if they need to. Again, this is Salvation Solution in white. Comes in a white and a clear. It works really well as a stain blocker. I like to use the white. It's thicker. The clear is a thinner, you know, it feels more like a top coat or a polyacrylic. It's not a polyacrylic, but I like to use the white, the thicker of the two, on these darker pieces. It just has a better coverage. Okay. And it goes a long way, as you can see. Covers nicely. And it's a water cleanup. Totally green, non-toxic. No VOCs. Sealer. So you can use it inside. It doesn't have an odor. And of course, that's for people that are sensitive to things like that. That's important. All right. I think we've got it. Oops, sorry, y'all. Okay, there you go. If you have any questions, hey, Patricia Browning, I'll catch them, but let me go back and just see if I can see anything. Looks like people are just watching. Well, I can't, yeah, okay. All right, y'all, there you go. There's just a couple of little tips about primering furniture and considerations when you're buying furniture. And I'll get this all primered and we'll go on to the next step next time. Okay, peace. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you were here today, and I hope you found it helpful. Okay, have a good afternoon.